Well, here we are. This is the intro.
You're doing the intro?
I'm Chris this time.
Oh, this is confusing.
I'm John, actually.
What?
Or am I Chris? Actually, I'm Scott. My name's Scott.
Wouldn't that have been an 11th hour twist after, on the 11th episode, we all just revealed we were impersonating each other?
God.
Oh God. I wish I was someone else.
I am the opposite. I don't think I'd want to be any of you.
I don't want to be me. So, listeners, if you've tuned in, Chris doesn't talk all that much. And I'm going to change that today. All right?
How are you going to change it?
You're leading this one.
Oh.
Because I'm forcing him to lead it, or we're just going to sit in silence.
Are you going to force him to lead it like how it was always like, hey, maybe you should do this? Or like, oh, he's doing a talking point thing. Or are you just actually going to, you're really just going to sit here in silence?
I'm not going to sit here in silence, but,
We'll contribute
I haven't thought it
sparingly.
through.
How about that?
Yeah.
Wheel. Both of you.
Yes. So I was listening to last week's podcast, as I do, and I noticed that I was talking a lot.
As you do.
And I'm like, do I talk a lot on this podcast?
Absolutely.
So I went back and watched every episode. And boy, do I talk a lot.
Well,
And it got me self-conscious.
to be fair, there are 2 episodes that you do not talk at all.
And even with
Yeah,
that,
you're
I
not
think I'm still keeping up with you three. Definitely more than you, Chris.
Oh, Scott's in the
for
lead
sure.
by far.
Well, I've already talked the least in this episode, the one I'm supposed to take the reins on.
I mean, your percentage is going
we'll
up.
be fixing that. Don't worry.
We're just early. Let's talk about the comments first.
Yes,
let's
let's
do
talk
key
about
comments.
the comments.
Ooh, the comments.
Let me pull them up real fast. So, Colon Sausage is the first one that I saw. Saying that... I may be putting my own words in this. Fuck you, Cody. I like the longer episodes. You can suck a bag of dicks. And I agree, Game of Thrones theories.
I saw that one. That was what I picked up from that. I will say I do have famously thin skin. So that he might
Famously?
not have been quite so harsh, but I certainly took it as a personal insult.
No, I mean...
Also, I want to thank Monsi, wherever she might be right now. Who knows?
I'm sure she's just an
sitting
earshot
in
away.
For sitting in on the Shulk viewing with us. Listening to us ramble about it before the podcast.
Colin Sausages wanted to have like our own
Shulk corner.
Shulk corner. The problem is,
I dub this right now the Shulk corner. Here it is, right here.
which corner is it?
Well...
I'm going to say top left.
I was gonna say top left.
Okay.
There you go. High five from Virtual High Five. There it is. Boom. Great job.
Somebody just punch a desk.
I went...
Oh, by the way, we
For
are...
the love of God, put Shulk up in that corner. Stay in that corner, you green slut. Stay in that corner.
The problem is, there's no more Shulk to watch, so it's going to be a little difficult keeping that corner full.
Please,
Well-
God, don't get a second
Well,
season.
hold on. Here's the thing, okay? We may not have a Shulk corner for the time being. It's vacant. But Black Panther is coming out here next week.
We
Well,
could
sorry,
fill
that's-
we could fill the
Hold on,
hole
hold on. Let me...
that
hold on,
Shulk leaves.
pause.
Pausing.
But here on November 11th, Black Panther is coming out.
You got to keep it, the continuity straight.
Exactly.
This episode's coming out what? What is...
Thursday?
I think
What's Thursday?
I believe
it's coming
that's
out,
around the 11th.
The day before.
That is the 11th, I think.
Okay, hold on. Take 3.
No, it's the 10th.
Take 3.
Dang it.
Black Panther is going to have midnight releases tonight.
And just cut that, Chris, so that it flows smoothly.
What if they
think
watch
you'd do
it on Saturday, John?
Oh,
Do the second part. November 11th. Hold on. Okay, just to make sure.
Also,
For those of you watching, I'm done doing this.
great. It wasn't a good bit.
It had
But
potential.
I'm glad you stuck to it.
It had potential.
There was another comment, another cryptic poem from.
Your boy
there.
Dealey Griff, dude.
Yep.
The shadows loom high. I fucked it up. The shadow looms high. A sacrifice was declared. Sore was the cheek made. I feel like, in a roundabout way, it's encryptic enough to be a part of one of my D&D puzzles.
I will say this. I don't know dick about poetry.
Yeah.
That's all.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you.
Thank you for keeping your
But-
contributions to the minimum this episode, Scott.
You're welcome. And finally, a crazy person.
So thank you for bringing this to my attention, Cody.
Yeah.
This makes me so happy. I was already having a good day today, but Jesus Christ, this makes me fucking giggle. This is incredible. The very first comment, the first two comments none of them make sense to me. But the first comment says, "If I succeed, I'll be the man for the next 10,000 years. ... My artificial intelligence." And then right after that, they say,
Well, what is this? What video has this? Maybe that adds some context.
it doesn't. The Albed Primer Guide.
Is he talking about succeeding at getting the Albed primers?
Listen, okay, maybe. And I thought to myself, well, what if this is like an iceberg in like Final Fantasy X?
Ooh.
But John's already uncovered
only
everything there is to know about it, Final Fantasy X. And there's no iceberg there that has anything to do with this.
Barely even a glacier.
I know, right? The second comment says, in layman's terms, I would just be a reference. ... Future citizens of the world can look me up, and I will appear. ... Give knowledge.
This sounds like an ARG.
I don't know what's
Or
an
a
ARG.
crazy person.
I don't know what the A ever stands
I think
for.
it's
It's either
alternate.
augmented or altered.
Altered reality?
Alternate reality game where the game is like, there's dogs going nuts outside. Oh my god.
At your place?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, they're not popping up on the video.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
good.
what was I saying? Oh, like it's like a creepy way to tell a story. Sometimes it's creepy. I think usually it's creepy, where the game there's like codes and social media, and there'll be hidden messages and videos and whatever, and like the viewers can play along with each other and crack the codes and whatever. It's interesting. It's an interesting way to tell a story.
What's the third comment, John?
So
Oh yeah,
So-
I forgot. There's 3.
those two comments were back to back, and then 13 hours later, on the same video, the guy says, "So let me rephrase that." this gets me so good. So let me rephrase that. Anybody willing to fight me, I can beat. I'm after the devil, son. I don't know what's happening.
I love the fact that he walked away for 12 hours and then he just comes back and, wait, no, I'm not done talking. I'm after the devil, son.
He was stewing on it for 12 hours. He probably had a nightmare.
He started with
I need to clarify.
Oh, you think it's just social anxiety?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
he started with, so let me rephrase that. So those last two comments is what he's rephrasing
Yeah.
about being a reference and being artificial intelligence for the next 10,000 years.
Completely
Thank you for
unrelated.
the
Let me rephrase that.
Anybody
Doesn't
willing
relate.
to fight me, I can beat. I'm after the devil, son.
Maybe he's the second coming of Jesus.
Maybe.
I don't know
Maybe.
if I've told you guys this, but it reminds me of somebody that I met in grad school
Oh no.
when I was doing my thesis research. I had to do human subjects experiments, and I was recruiting like just basically college students to come in and do this experiment for me.
This is how MK Ultra happened.
It basically is, yeah.
Sorry,
but
did you say
mine
Stranger
was-
Things?
Mine was much lamer.
Yeah.
And I got this contact information for one of these subjects who had done another study for my buddy's experiment, who was running at the same time. And he gives me his email or whatever, and he's like, just so you know, this guy's, like, kind of weird. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, I was running him for my experiment, and he had, like, a flip phone on a belt holster. And every, like, 15 minutes, his cell phone would ring, and he'd, like, pick it up, and he'd be like, hello? Hello? And presumably there was nobody ever on the end of the line, and then he would just hang up, and he'd be like, the damn robots are out to get me.
Oh no!
I have this idea. How old was the guy?
Oh, I think he was in his 30s.
Oh, dude, I'm imagining like this like 60-year-old man, and like his grandkid connected like his phone to like some Bluetooth earphones. So like his phone would ring, but he would only be able to hear whoever's talking through the earphones.
Oh.
So he's just looking like a fucking crazy person.
Well, that didn't
That's
deter me from recruiting him for my study.
Nice.
And so I email him, and we kind of go back and forth, and we're getting everything scheduled, and I like throw out a time or whatever. And he emails me back, and he's like, I could do 10 a.m. of next week. That will be fine. I have been wanting to ask you if you are actually an AI entity housed in a large server farm with a similar and complementary counterpart on another continent named Neuromancer. I have never even met a construct before. Sincerely, name redacted.
Wow.
And I had... and I just replied, 10 a.m.'s good. No, I'm not. See you then.
We have a real mental health issue in this country.
Well, so the thing is, this guy was certainly weird, and he also never showed up. He totally ghosted me.
The robots got him.
Yeah.
Presumably.
They finally caught up to him.
What I found out later is this guy, in addition to being weird, was also attempting to be funny. Because my last name is Wintermute, and that is...
Doxed.
I'm doxing myself. And Wintermute is apparently the name of an AI construct in the book Neuromancer. So
William Gibson.
it's by William Gibson. It's a literary reference that I didn't understand. This guy was just a little too in the weeds for me to pick up his pop culture references, and I just thought he was weird. Weirder. But I assume if I'd read Neuromancer or was familiar with it, I would have thought that was pretty funny.
You know what? I'm going back. I think he's just an eccentric, funny guy. When he said the robots were trying to get me, he was just like, I'm so goddamn sick of these robocalls.
No.
And he was trying to make the... Okay, all right, he's crazy.
I don't
Cody.
think that's it.
Cody, I gotta ask, are you now here in like 6 years when we blow up and we act like we don't know nobody?
Another 6 years? Oh, no.
Oh, God, I can't wait that long.
So here, like 6 years, are you okay with doxing yourself with an old video that people will eventually find?
Here's the problem, John. I could either say what my last name is, or I could just explain that he was referring to this AI construct in this book, Neuromancer by William Gibson, at which point people would have been like, oh, he's talking about Wintermute. So it's like, damned if I do, damned if I don't. I might as well go out on my terms.
Okay, all right.
Well, you could have just not mentioned it.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, kind of how like...
And I was supposed to be keeping my contributions to a minimum, too.
Yep.
That is right. Chris hasn't said anything in a while.
Because, I mean, like, if you... This doesn't count as saying anything. Him laughing does not count as saying anything.
That is not content. A laugh is not content.
It is not. See, because I was going to say, we could, like, cover it up with, like, a fake last name. No, I'd be like, Crit, not Crit, Jesus Christ. Chris, cut this out. Cut this out and add this in. Right when he's about to say his last name, just cut in Summer Loud.
What could he mean?
Who is that?
Because my last name is Pussy Fart.
Because my last name is...
What did he say his last name was? Oh.
You know what?
Oh,
I've been on the internet for a long time here. You know, if somebody was going to dox me, they would have done it by now.
Of the four of us, I think I'm the hardest. I'm the hardest.
Oh my.
Oh.
I'm the most difficult to find because I don't have Facebook or any social media like that.
Yeah, that would be tough. That'd be tough.
But it's not like I'm certainly not impossible to find. I'm around.
I think I'm the
Yeah, he
easiest.
is.
Well, yeah, but you're out on the corner every Friday night, just giving out your
Man,
social
dude.
media information.
In that part of town too.
Is that what they
God,
call
you
it?
are an absolute tramp.
Wow.
I get a lot of nickels.
Yeah, you do.
Where do you put them?
Who gave you nickel? All of them.
Well,
I miss him.
well,
He's not
that's
dead.
the comments. And I swear to God, if Shulk is leaving that
Norm
corner,
Macdonald
I'm gonna
is
freak
dead.
out.
So, I mean, let's just get this
excuse
out
me.
of the
I
way
thought
right
it was
now.
an Andy Richter joke. But
No.
Norm Macdonald was making that joke about Andy Richter.
Yes.
My mistake.
All continuity
No idea
aside,
what we're talking
are we
about.
going to see Black Panther?
I'd like to.
Yeah.
Man, Marvel's like a toxic relationship for me now.
I'd like to, knowing that you will be paying for me.
Okay. Alright.
And I enjoy watching movies with my
I was
friends.
gonna say, I enjoy spending time with my friends. But like, I just, I feel like we're gonna walk home disappointed.
I hated the first Black Panther.
You have to make.
I enjoyed the
Uh-oh.
first Black Panther.
It's because I'm a racist, I guess.
Yeah.
You do, yeah.
But I am not able to be, grabbed. I think the first Black Panther movie that was good was Civil War. The character in Civil War was not in Black Panther.
I was gonna say,
And I
like,
think that's a problem.
it did feel like in the first Black Panther that T'Challa already had all his like character development that he needed, and they're like, well, let's just throw these problems in here. Like, it felt like the Black Panther movie was more about establishing Wakanda than anything else.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world.
The main issue I have with the movie is the decisions they made for the setting, where I'm seeing this super advanced society, and everything's perfect and wonderful, but their leader is decided by who can beat the other guy in a fight. That's ridiculous. And I think they're doing it just because it's an African nation.
Yeah, that's
and they're trying to, it seems, I don't know what's happening in the comics. It seems like they're trying to be woke. And they're like, they're really tuning into their African roots.
Marvel.
Well,
This is about
Marvel
representation.
trying to be woke. What are you gonna tell me next? It was a white guy that was the villain.
He wasn't though. The villain. He was one of the villains.
One of them. Yeah.
The villain was Warmonger. Johnny, did you watch the film?
It's been a minute. I normally just watch Captain America: The First Avenger.
It's Michael B. Jordan.
Also, people go on about how good Michael B. Jordan is, an excellent performer, and I will not hear any otherwise. But people go on about how excellent of a villain Warmonger is. His name Warmonger?
Yeah.
Killmonger.
Oh, it is Killmonger. It is Killmonger.
Warmonger was
and-
Jeff Bridges' character in the first Iron Man.
No, that was Ironmonger.
Oh.
That was
No,
Iron
that
Man.
was Robert Downey Jr.'s character.
Isn't there?
No, that's Iron Man.
Isn't there an X-Man that's Warmonger?
You're thinking of Warpath.
Is
I am
he
thinking of
of
Warpath.
Native American origin?
He is.
Yeah.
His name isn't Cherokee. What was that? What were we calling him?
Comanche.
Comanche. His name isn't Comanche, like we were calling him. You don't know this, audience, but this is we were like riffing. We just watched Fantastic, and we were riffing about it was the stupidest thing ever.
if
this
we
happened
were in
like
like
a
the
year
mirror
ago.
universe,
Yeah. What
Marvel
Marvel
never-
properties would they be making movies out of?
yeah, but they never advanced past like Ang Lee's Hulk and Ben Affleck's Daredevil. And so we were like, what if they cast Zach Braff as Comanche?
And we just kept calling him Comanche. But also, it was like tied in was the idea that it was like this conspiracy theory that Fox is trying to deliberately ruin characters
Yes.
because they want to be bought out by Disney.
There was like 20 different names that we had come up with for that movie.
And I'm gonna cast a white guy.
That would have been the most extreme fucking chain of laughter
That
that
so
we've ever
good.
gone through.
Too bad we didn't record that.
Oh,
huh?
Yeah, too
man.
bad we didn't record that.
That was like months before the podcast.
Oh, Chris, hey.
Welcome back.
It's good to hear you again. Are you doing well?
Thanks.
You were sick
What were we
recently. Are
just
you
talking
feeling better
about?
now?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
That's good. That's good. Yep. Now we're at that part of the podcast.
What were we just talking about? What were we
We
just
were
talking
just
about
talking
before?
about-
X-Men?
Comanche.
Oh, People say Killmonger is a great villain, and I disagree. I think he's fine. That's what I had to say about it.
I would like to point out that you guys just got full unadulterated. This is what happens when John and Chris lead the podcast. That was
Hey man, how you doing? I'm doing well.
that was
Scott, do you have
unfiltered.
anything else to say?
Well, all right. Thanks everybody for joining us. Tune in next week where we just do fuck all.
Hey, so it's fall and it's football season.
What a segue.
Subtle as a bull in
Did
a
anybody
china
just hear that
shop.
motorized scooter go by?
I did.
Uh-huh.
Some of us are into football here.
You know, I'm just gonna stop you there. Now that you brought us to where we're at, is your name still Buy Bengals Seahawks New BF?
Yes.
Man,
I don't think
what
I
a
changed.
what a choice that was.
Dude,
That was incredible. That
I
year,
wasn't gonna get that job.
yeah. I mean, that's that's fair. I mean, it would have been cool if you did.
Yeah.
But it also would have sucked if you did. Regardless, you give up on the Bengals immediately for basically nothing. And they go to the fucking Super Bowl. And then now
Yeah.
the Seahawks trade their star quarterback and
Denver.
to Denver for literally the whole fucking house. Like they gave him to Denver for like the next decade of their future.
Oof.
And this dude comes in, and he's like the worst fucking quarterback in the league this year.
Oh, damn.
And his
Bronco country.
his let's ride. And his rebuttal was like this weekend they played in London, and he's like, yeah, we were on an 8-hour plane trip. The first 2 hours I watched tape. I studied a lot. I got up. I did some exercises. I did some high knees. I did a whole bunch of calisthenics on the plane.
High knees.
And he's like, I think I slept for like an hour, and then I woke up and I watched some more tape. And it's like, Russ, dude, just tell
Are
me
you
had a
alive?
good. Just tell me you had a good flight, okay? Don't be
somebody
one of
holding
these
a gun
lizard
to your
people.
head?
What's happening?
Blink twice if you're kidnapped.
I feel like Russell Wilson, I think he might have a bit of a touch of the tism going on up there.
He could. He could.
He
doesn't?
doesn't behave like a normal person.
Well,
I
is
agree.
it that or a string of concussions that he had?
I don't think he's ever actually
CTE.
had a like on file concussion, but I'm sure pretty much every NFL player has, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no way they haven't.
And
At
there's-
some point in their
The NFL
lives.
tried to cover it up for a long time, but we've known for a while that football players are not okay up there.
Because of that Will
Well, here's
Smith
something
movie.
interesting.
Yeah.
Here's something interesting with the. I wonder if rugby has the same problem.
Oh, I guarantee
They don't even
do.
wear pads.
Ooh.
I guarantee they do.
They don't even wear helmets in rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're real men.
That might be interesting because there is a bit of a phenomenon where the more safety equipment you wear, the higher likelihood you have of getting a injury. They noticed
Well, you know what I think it is you just weigh more. There's more momentum.
Well, not only that, but they noticed this in boxing when they moved from boxing without gloves to boxing with gloves. People started getting hurt a lot worse. And it's because
Really?
if you have these giant pillows on the ends of your hands, you're not worried about breaking your hands, and so you're gonna punch a lot harder.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. You're
Yeah,
not holding
it's,
your punch anymore.
Because you feel like you have this protection, you can go harder in the paint.
It's like Attack on Titan.
Yes, it is actually. That's
Wait,
the similarity we should be using here.
Okay.
I'm not.
The Attack Titan is so strong that he breaks his hands the first time he appears.
I see.
He does do that.
Yeah.
If he was wearing padded gloves, he wouldn't have broken his hands.
And he wouldn't
But he
have pulled
would've
his
done-
punches.
He wouldn't have pulled his punches. He would have done a lot more damage.
That's a lot
Fix
of
it.
damage.
He actually does get gloves later.
No.
Not gloves, but like.
Oh yeah, he gets like the
Knuckles.
diamond knuckle things.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does.
Oh man.
That doesn't sound.
You
like
know
it
who
would
else
help.
has diamond knuckles? Tom fucking Brady.
Really?
That's actually so good, Sean.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
He has enough that he could have diamond toes.
Dude, he's almost there. He's got, I think, 7 rings at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he's got 1 less now because he finally got the divorce done with
Oh, did
Giselle
that go through?
Bundchen.
Yeah, that went through.
I was
Damn.
about to say,
Giselle.
I had read an article. Well, I had read an article. I saw a title for an article saying that they didn't have sex in their marriage.
They have.
There ain't no
children.
way. They have kids. They have multiple kids.
They used a turkey baster.
Oh, or
Oh
maybe a
my.
surrogate father.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think
Giselle Bundchen is my favorite random famous person's name to say.
I'm glad you know her name. I did not know how to pronounce her name.
Is it the bunchin part?
It's just all of it.
Dude,
It's the fact that it starts with jizz and ends with chin.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at my own joke about Tom Brady having another man impregnate his wife.
Look, coach said if you have sex, you do bad at the game.
fuck,
so
dude,
have
it
a
was
buddy
probably
do it.
fucking Gronkowski, man.
Whatever
They're
he's
such
doing
close
is working.
bros, I
so he
wouldn't be
needs to
surprised if he
continue
asked
doing
him.
it.
If you guys need anything, I'll be in the backyard throwing spirals.
That makes it even worse that he kisses his illegitimate children in the mouth.
What?
What?
Excuse me?
Oh, that was a little.
he
That was a
kisses
little
his
joke.
children on the mouth.
Oh, yeah,
Chris,
they
why
just-
you gotta
they
make
just-
it weird, man?
Tom Brady made it weird, John.
Yeah, I'm just
We're just talking about Gronk fucking his ex-wife. And you talk about him kissing his kids on the mouth.
It would have been his current wife at the time. Let's be clear.
Yeah, you're right. My bad.
Honestly, I just hope Tom Brady never retires, and he just keeps winning rings. I want to see him
Dude.
out there Super Bowl Sunday, 57 years old, just
So,
throwing touchdowns.
hold on, let me pull this up real fast. Because I heard as of the recording of this episode, right before this, I got ripped away from my family by these losers, where I was watching the Rams and the Bucks play. And there was a statistic thrown out that he needed to have like 300 passing yards or something to hit 100,000 total career passing yards.
Holy shit!
And let me just look this up real fast.
Let's while you're looking that up.
That's like
Bucks-
1,000 football fields.
Good
Great
job
job.
there.
Great job.
The Bucks beat the Rams, who are the current Super Bowl champions,
Yep, they're the defending Super Bowl champions.
and Tom Brady's
Oh, the Rams won? I guess I forgot that.
middle age.
Yeah.
Okay, so oh man. This is incredible. All right. So before this season, sorry, I think it was 90,000. 90,000 career passing yards. Before the season started, Tom Brady had 87,067 passing yards. Second
That's a lot of
place,
passing yards.
he holds the career record, by the way.
Figures.
Second place is Drew Brees with 80,000. And then Peyton Manning with 71,000.
I don't even know who Drew Brees is.
So like Tom Brady, who is like basically a vampire. Well, he's finally starting to age now that he's not getting anything from what's her name? How do you say it?
Giselle Bundchen.
Giselle Bundchen.
Okay. Now that he's not getting any from her, he's starting to age. but he's still 7,000 higher than the second place who's already retired.
Drew
And,
Brees
like,
retired?
Yeah, he retired like 2 years ago.
Oh. I didn't
It
know
was
that.
actually really
So he's
sad. I
not
almost
gonna-
cried when it happened.
He's like
goodness.
football's a young man's game, and Brett's.
But like,
And Brett's. And Tom's.
and Brett's, and so
How old is Tom? How long has Tom Brady's NFL career been?
Tom
I
Brady
think he's-
started playing in the year 2000 was his first. So sorry, he was drafted in '99. He did not get to actually start playing until the year 2000.
And he hasn't like taken any breaks.
No breaks. He
So
hasn't had
that
a year
means
off.
in 22 years he's gotten 87 grand.
He's 87,000 yards passed.
So that's pretty much 4,000 a year.
Yep.
He gets 40 football fields of passing a year.
God
Mm-hmm.
damn.
And if you think the guy's lost his touch, he hasn't, because right now he's passed for the second most out of every quarterback this year. Like
Oh, this season.
this season,
He's second place.
he's still fucking up there.
Who's first?
I think it's like the guy for the Bills, like Josh
Oh.
Allen or whatever his name is.
Josh Allen. Fuck Josh Allen.
Dude.
That
No idea.
that sounds like a
So-
Silver Age comic book hero name.
So
I'm
here's-
Josh Allen, and I am the Fax Man.
dude,
Facts, man.
Yeah.
I can shit out a fax. That's it.
I was
So-
taking a drink, you ass.
so let's talk about Tom Brady's career a little bit more.
Okay.
You know how like in New England everybody loved to fucking hate this guy, right?
Now,
Like, go ahead.
like now? They do?
Oh, no. Back then, everybody. Well, I mean, a lot of people still hate Tom Brady, but I think they just hate him because
I
he
feel like the
succeeds.
hate is because I think the hate is similar to Superman hate.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom Brady won. Wow,
Yep.
incredible.
Tom,
Never
Tom
saw
Brady
that coming.
basically is a real life Superman.
I mean, there was like a really crazy statistic where like Tom Brady's played for 20 years and he's made it to the Super Bowl 11 times. So he has an over 50% chance to make it to the Super Bowl, which is a higher scoring percentage than LeBron James and Steph Curry on 3-point shots.
and the Patriots are just like, no thank you.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, hey Tom, we gotta listen. You're getting up there in age, and he's like, you fucking shitting me? Hold my beer, man. What are you talking about?
I'm gonna go down to Florida and start QBing for that high school team they call the Buccaneers.
Hey, you
And
know
I'm
how
going to the
Gronk's in
Super Bowl.
retirement? Fucking
And then he did.
yeah,
And then he did it.
did, and then he fucking did it.
And then first year there, bam.
But like,
Just, goddamn.
To be fair, he took that other guy.
This
too.
man, he took him
Yeah.
out of retirement. Gronkowski retired, and he was like, hey Gronk, I'm going down south. It's gonna be like 90, 100-degree weather. There's a freaking beach there. Like, come down here. You don't have to do any workouts, any cardio. Honestly, I'll just say we watch film together. You can bang my wife.
You can continue banging my wife.
Like,
And he's like,
Fucking-
deal.
but like, this man has won more Super Bowls than every team has won. The highest number of Super Bowls a team has won is 6, and this motherfucker's won 7.
Holy shit.
And this dude,
And the previous one who's won the most is him,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. The one who's won 6 is the team that he was just with. But every year this guy wins the Super Bowl, all the fucking haters come out, and I was a part of these haters for the first 4. With the first 4, I was like, I fucking hate this guy. This guy's stupid. But every time the haters would come out, they'd be like, oh, he has a really good defense, or well, he has like the best fucking wide receiver core there is.
He's
Like
the hottest fucking wife, man.
Gronk calls up Bill Belichick. He's like, hey, I want to come work for you guys. You guys have that quarterback that has a hot ass wife, right? Listen, I'm gonna invite her to some of my dorm parties. Tell her to
At
bring the
Arizona
kids.
State.
I love Gronkowski, dude. He's the best,
He was good in those commercials.
He leaves
during the
great
Super
pipe.
Bowl.
dude. But now Tom Brady doesn't catch a break because like every single year people say he's washed up and he needs to retire, and like I get it. He's like fucking almost 57 years old, or no, 47 years old, or something. Like at this point, he's reaching Brett Favre levels. But man, he's still not going to win.
Brett Favre levels.
I mean, Brett. Well, they're like. I think Brett played close to the same. The only difference is Brett Favre retired like 4 times.
Yeah, but the problem is, Brett Favre wasn't winning Super Bowls last year.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But the reason why Tom Brady is not going to be able to win, this is going to get a little bit sad now. The reason why Tom Brady can't win, and they can't just say he's the fucking best there is because now, eventually he's going to retire, but the divorce has already happened, and everybody's going to be like, oh my god, Tom Brady, it's just a fucking game. You gave up the rest of your life with this beautiful woman because you couldn't put the fucking ball down.
I see.
And he's just over here like, fuck you guys, I'm winning my 8th.
I'm living my best life.
Do you think in the divorce proceeding she gets 4 of the championship titles?
Ooh.
I hope
She
not.
gets half, yeah.
Let's see. I see a world.
No.
I don't think she would, because she's probably a good person. But it would be funny to me if she like makes them sell them, and then just like cuts the profit in half.
Oh, no.
forgetting
I'm
it.
not talking about the rings or the trophies. I'm talking about in the record books. She gets... Tom Brady's name gets whited out, and Gisele's name...
Giselle asterisk.
Dude,
Yeah.
I
She
don't
was
think
doping at the time, though.
I don't think Brady would agree to that, but Bill Belichick would sign that in a fucking heartbeat. He'd be like, anything to get this guy's name out of our team. We're done
I don't
with this.
wanna
This is
push
like a
back
bad
on-
relationship, just like the MCU.
I don't want to push. I don't want to push back on this topic. You did just mention the MCU. I want to apologize for slut shaming Shulk earlier.
Were you
I've been
slut
thinking
shaming?
about it a lot. Yeah, I call her the big green slut,
Oh.
and I want to push. I don't want people to see me as that guy. I'm not that guy. I don't slut shame big green mommies. All right.
And if you are, it's because the TV show forced your hand.
Yeah,
It's not your fault.
I'm not that guy.
It's not your fault.
Stay in that corner, you big whore.
Oh man.
Jesus.
She keeps trying to touch me.
Man, I'd like
Well,
to thank you guys for letting me talk about Tom Brady for so long. That was
I
fantastic.
don't think
You know,
Giselle gets half of Brady's stuff. I think Brady gets half of hers.
That's also a good point.
Well, I hate to say this, but she
pretty good
retired.
cooked.
She retired back in like 2010, so that she could be a stay-at-home mom while
She
he was
doesn't
taking
play
pay
NFL
cuts.
anyway. Oh.
Well, I think we've gnawed all the meat off that bone. So,
The meef. You want to take that again?
well, I think we've gnawed all the meat off that bone.
You should have said meef.
Only more emphasis. Not all the meef off that bone.
Meef is a good D&D character.
Meef.
I'm going with it.
Meef is
meef.
that's pretty solid. What kind of race do you think Meef would be?
Goblin.
The name's Gregor Meef.
Sir Gregor Meef.
Yep. That's what I'm going to do.
Um,
Gregor Meef is going to be my next sorcerer.
Gregor Meef.
Chris, I could see you naming a Skyrim character that.
Meef would I think Meef would be like a fae. He'd be like a fairy.
Or have a Fey bloodline for sorcery.
Okay.
Sure.
I was gonna say a kobold.
Okay. Sure. I think most kobolds have noise names, like something like that. Oh, this is my bud.
What if it's
I
just
thought
like
they had like descriptive names, like Scar, because he has a scar.
Oh, I just imagine that they're all like noises a cat makes when it's trying to hack up a fur ball. Yeah, there we go. That's a good one.
Man, that was a long name.
Hello, my name is. I could get behind that.
Well,
Yeah, I'm not
Isn't
going to
that
remember
great?
that.
Isn't
You're
that
going to need a
great that we
nickname or
just-
something.
you can call me. That's good.
Sorry. You can call me Summer Loud.
Stay in your corner. Okay, so what about you talking about next, guys? What are we talking about?
Well,
We got nothing.
we haven't talked about dreams in a while. wall.
Oh, I just made such a big mess.
And I
Oh
heard-
my god, hold on, time out.
What have you done?
So bad.
What did you do?
What have you done?
So much water. Oh my god, it's everywhere.
Why did you spit
Why did
out?
you spit up the water?
The way I wasn't ready for you to yell, "Stay in your corner." Oh, it's all over my lap. It's on my wall. I did a hard cut left. I buffaloed hard. And I looked at my wall so that I didn't hit any of my setup.
That's noble.
Oh, I don't want
Noble.
to derail us any further, but also none of us said this is in the buff. Welcome to the buff.
Just
Yeah,
put that
we're
at the
in the
beginning,
ball.
30
Chris.
minutes in.
Just put that at the beginning.
I'm
The
Chris.
age-old tradition of telling you the
Oh.
name and intro
Oh,
40
man.
minutes into the
That's
What
recording.
Scott.
am I watching?
I'm gonna need a change after this.
John just spit up
Great.
water.
That means. Hold on a second.
God, the
What do you
one
mean change?
time we
You-
weren't naked.
I'm naked.
Yeah, I'm naked.
I have a confession to make then.
Are
Since
a
you guys
never
weren't
nude?
here, I didn't get naked.
You know, John, I've heard you had some weird dreams recently.
Oh. So that means we don't want to talk about Skyrim, or...
No, we're doing
What?
Skyrim Live.
Hold on, let me wipe
What
off my
more
phone.
is there to say about Skyrim that hasn't already been said in the 11 years?
Yeah.
Well,
Since
it's
it's
funny
been
that
out.
you say that. In the 7th rendition of Skyrim,
Was that like a chromatic scale of your laughter there, Chris?
oh, dude, it went through my nose.
I love Argonians. They're my favorite.
I bet you do. I bet you do.
You know
They even
what's
got the
funny?
boobs.
What's funny is whenever I just have too many games to play, and so
Man,
whenever
I hate
I'm,
that problem.
I know. Whenever I'm trying to figure out what game to play and I can't decide on anything, I just go back to Skyrim. And I joke,
I get that.
You know what's funny?
I joke
Oh,
that
I thought you were talking.
there isn't anything more to be said about the game. But like just this year or last year, they released the anniversary edition and added a whole bunch of new content.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Like I
what?
booted it up after for the first time in a couple of years, and I'm like getting all these quests that I had no recollection of, and I'm like, what is all this? And they like added like new items and new NPCs and new quests
Wow.
and a whole lot of stuff.
You were just...
Speaking of Argonian tits, it's interesting how much people have talked about them.
Yeah.
Why they got them? They're lizards.
That's a good point. Tits are a mammalian thing.
Yes.
Well, I've...
And like, there's like real discussion about why the Argonians, like the Hist, made Argonians to look like. A theory is that the Hist made Argonians to look like the other races, so they could procreate.
I've
with
watched
them.
that video.
Well, if that was the
Yeah.
Hist's goal, it's doing a shitty job.
Yeah.
You could
For
line
you,
up.
maybe.
You could line up 100 people with one Argonian in them. I'd pick them out 10 times out of 10. I'm like, that one. Right there, number 37.
No, they're not trying to look like. They're trying to not. They're trying to like have the secondary sexual characteristics of the other races, so they
Oh.
can be attractive.
Yeah.
I see. So the other ones get horny for the Argonians.
Yes. And I can
Exactly.
say from experience that 100% that works.
Nothing gets me
And
more
also-
randy than just scaly, slimy skin.
Exactly.
The lusty Argonian maid is like propaganda.
You know, speaking of scaly, slimy skin,
Yeah, it is.
this...
What?
It reminds me of that one video by Bacon from Oblivion where this guy's like, hey, how are you? And the other guy's like, got any new books in? And he's like, yes, I just got a copy of The Lusty Argonian Maid. And the other guy's like, oh, I've been so horny to read that book. And the bookseller's like, yeah, goodbye. What are you doing, Todd?
It just works.
Do you know how much work went into making that conversation? John, did you have something to say? I'm supposed to be keeping my contributions.
I
to the
know,
end of this
I
episode.
know. I'm actually still cleaning up water. This is terrible. Dude. So... Somehow you guys knew about a dream. You guys mentioned a dream? It's crazy. Because we definitely didn't talk about that before. Anyways, I've been having some real weird dreams lately. Like some real. I don't know why it's happening kind of shit.
Did it
And
star
maybe it's
Argonian tits?
it involves snake people.
I think Cody's game is the reason it's
Well, I
happening.
think it's also just the hordes of Taco Bell that I eat right before I go to bed.
It's known for
Um,
its snake meat.
You said that
my
like it's
God.
self-evident. But I'm not sure how those two things relate.
Yeah.
What? Me?
Yeah.
The acidity of the Taco Bell spices sits in his stomach and alters his brain chemistry.
I
to
see.
have
Puts him
horny
into some
snake
sort of
people
fever
dreams.
state.
Oh.
Yes.
I don't need anything extra to have horny snake people dreams. I just have those. So what's your dream?
Well, so I had this dream that these snake people invaded our world. Or they came up from underground, I'm not really sure. And they like quickly like took over the world, and our only Earth's only option to stay alive was to like send like a arc kind of ship like up into space, like a Halo ship. But then like they kept survivors like down on Earth to like try to fight the battle and like hopefully like save them so that we could come back to Earth. And like there was like it's been a little bit since this dream happened. Let me pull up my notes real fast. Cuz
He has notes on
because I followed you on this and I wrote down what I could remember.
You should have recorded
Come
it.
unprepared.
So there were like safe havens that we could go to. And then the human race just nuked the rest of the earth away from these safe havens.
That is a very human thing, I feel like. If we can't have it, no one can.
But to kind of set the scene, the dream took place almost like the snakes after the nuking were almost like these like Last of Us like zombies almost, but mixed with xenomorph aliens. But it felt like a Walking Dead story.
This is 3 different.
I know,
ones.
right? just put them together, get the blender, get it going.
Get it up into a nice creamy bisque.
If you put a xenomorph in a blender, it's just gonna melt the blender, John.
Yeah.
You're right.
You didn't think about this at all.
Okay, great.
Think about the acid flood.
But so like there were bits and pieces of like all these battles happening where we were like trying to like save the earth, and it got to a point where like the last people that were left on the earth were fighting the last snakes that were left on the earth, and we got like cornered, and weirdly the only faces that were there were the people that I work with in my group.
So we're doomed.
And we reached a point where somebody Leroy Jenkins, they didn't yell Leroy Jenkins, but they ran in like with a grenade, I guess, I forget. They died in the dream. But we called in the Ark to come back like right before the battle's gonna be over, because like the reinforcements would have been enough to take care of everything. But there was like one snake that lived and very clearly got away. And like in my dream, it did like a straight like 7 years later thing, where like I was walking in this like old abandoned schoolyard, and I found this snake like rummaging through a van, and I'm like, oh fuck, it's here. I can finally kill this thing. And I stepped on a twig and it broke it, and it like its head shot around and looked at me, and like it ran up on me like fucking blue knees. And like I panicked. I put my hand in front of my face, and then like I heard like the earth like move around me, and I looked back, and it was just like being crushed by a whole bunch of earth, and I basically turned into Reese, and I hit it with lightning bolt.
Nice.
Reese, your D&D game.
Yeah. Because even though we didn't have a recent session, I can still bring D&D into our talks.
Yes.
Absolutely. I already did. I already called that. I used the name Grigory Meef or whatever I said was.
Yeah, me. Yeah. And yeah, I know. I woke up as soon as like I woke up and then I heard lightning strike, and that tells me in my head that like I used the lightning bolt move or whatever. And I'm like,
That could have been exploding head syndrome.
But also when I woke up, it was like raining a lot.
Oh.
So I may have woke up because of a lightning strike.
It was one of those hypnagogic things where
Yeah.
the outside world influenced your dream and made it make sense to you.
Potentially.
We talked about hypnagogia in the pilot. Isn't that fun?
So I just have something I have to get off my chest here.
Oh.
And John, I hope you don't take this the wrong way.
He's gonna.
But I would like to apologize to the three of you and to anybody listening. Because I realize that I have spoken at length about some of the dreams that I have had on this podcast. And I had no idea how fucking boring I was. But I realized now. It just had a bit of a light bulb moment, for no reason in particular. That it's not very entertaining to listen to somebody talk about their dreams.
I love your dreams.
And I'm
I
sorry.
love all of your guys' dreams. I loved your dream that was definitely a dream about you seeing green eyes in the basement and shooting up to your bed.
Better
Which
to
was
see
definitely
green
a dream.
eyes than blue knees.
I live by that phrase.
I loved your dog-faced man dream. John had a bunch of dreams he used to tell me when he was a kid, when we were kids, and I loved all of them. The Mothman was my favorite one.
I've gotten way worse at telling stories.
Yeah, it's the concussions.
Oh
Well,
fuck.
It probably is.
I don't have these kinds of dreams. I've talked about this before. I never have dreams. I have like the same kinds of archetypes of things that happen in the dream. None of it is ever like interesting or weird or silly. They're always just, I'll say they're personal and I don't want to share them, but they're always the same.
Yeah.
And I think that sucks. I want to be terrified out of my wits in a dream.
Dude, here recently, my dreams have been all over the place.
Really?
It's been, like, this was the only one that I took the time to actually write down.
So you're not going to share a second one?
No.
Oh.
Thank God.
And it's definitely not because I had it written down, because I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But also, even if I did, I probably wouldn't share it. Not because you guys don't want to hear it, but because we're almost at the hour mark.
Well,
I know you guys would want to hear it.
2 birds, 1 stone. How about that?
Well, I mean, you say we're at the hour mark, but I'm going to be honest. I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied with the level of engagement Chris has given this podcast.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
You've been doing excellently, John. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
fantastic.
I made a mess.
And it was great. Chris, I need you to tell us something at length, in depth, for the next, let's call it 11 minutes. We can just sit here in silence.
I could
I'll
read a
do
poem by Elizabeth Bishop.
I'd rather stop
I
talking
don't
to
want
you.
that. I don't want that.
Like permanently, Cody, or just
Yes.
tonight?
Yes. Professionally
You know-
and personally.
He read a poem to someone else once before, and they cried. Did we ever talk about that?
No. We
John, are you
we talked
stupid?
about prepping this bit, but we haven't done it yet.
No.
What bit?
What am I going to?
What?
Oh, that's right.
It's what sparked the
That
stripper
bit.
penguin.
Yeah. You should read that.
No.
He's not
Just
powerful.
the master of improv here. Just snappy comebacks.
It's just so bad. It's just so bad.
It
It's
was
not
it
bad.
was
All
good enough to make her
poetry's
cry.
bad. Maybe she was crying from like
Her third eye.
She thought you were special needs.
Oh.
And she was so touched that you wrote a poem.
For her.
Yeah.
Oh.
What if that's what happened? Would you be sad, Chris?
She was so sad that somebody would have the depravity to bring a special needs child to a strip club.
It's all John's fault.
And she just had this, like, harrowing moment for humanity.
You know what's interesting to me? I'm not trying to say something when I say this. I don't mean to be offensive in any way when I say this. I really want to double down on that. It's interesting to me that so many special needs children really like wrestling.
Yeah.
That's like a stereotype almost, that so many special needs kids are just really into wrestling, and I wonder why that is.
I'm not qualified.
I don't know
To
if I should
answer.
talk.
Well, John, you did a lot of wrestling back in high school.
No, I didn't.
Not from the stories I heard.
Nice. I meant professional wrestling.
Oh,
By
you're
the
talking
way.
about WWE.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought you meant, like,
How?
competitive... Wait, what do you even call that?
Wait, now I'm confused.
They really like Undertaker and Mankind, Hell in a
yeah.
Cell.
John Cena.
Entertainment wrestling.
They're just a lot of special needs children in school specifically are really into it, and I think that's it.
Chris, how did you feel about professional wrestling?
I enjoyed it. Not nearly as much as a friend of mine from elementary school.
Who was special
He
needs?
was really into it. He once
Yeah, I know
told
who you're
me-
talking about, man. I know who you're... Well, actually, no, you said elementary school. I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
We didn't know you back then.
Yeah, no.
You didn't exist.
Yeah, this is before I existed. He watched wrestling a lot. I just watched it whenever it was on. Which Undertaker was the best. Just get that out there.
Absolutely.
What does
You're
that
allowed to
mean,
be wrong.
Chris? When it's on, it's
Wow.
always on.
It's not always on.
Way to be too cool to be judged.
It was just sometimes be on while I was up, so I'd have it on. But it wasn't like, ooh, it's Wednesday at 9. I gotta turn on WBs, watch some WWE.
I think you've sold the point.
I think the only time I ever watched wrestling in my quote-unquote adult life was when I was a teenager. After I'd come home from band on Friday nights, and it was on. Like they did the Friday night thing for
Friday Night
wrestling,
Raw.
and it was on. And I like watched the last half of it.
No, Friday
because it
night.
was
You
on.
dumb-
Friday night
Dumbass.
was us.
Monday
Friday was
Night Raw.
SmackDown. Monday night was Raw. Friday night was SmackDown.
That you did just pull that memory out
Yep.
of my head. Well. On this day, I love that song.
Oh, man. Kane
Edge
was
is
my
so
favorite
silly.
wrestler when I was a kid. And then it turned into The Rock.
Because of the fire.
And then, it was absolutely the fire. I didn't understand anything about what Kane stood for. Also, I was not smart enough to comprehend whatever stories they were making. I was just like, he lights up the ring. He's cool.
He's cool.
What?
Did you
wait,
see his intro? He's so spooky.
Wait. Paul Bearer is his dad?
Yeah, man. He's also The Undertaker's dad, I think.
Destroy him!
I think I mentioned this to you before, but my favorite part is what happens after that video ends. Where he tells Kane to destroy the Undertaker, and then Kane turns his back on Paul Bearer. His father betrays him, and then the Undertaker just beats the shit out of Paul Bearer.
Oh, man. I don't really know what Undertaker's story was. Also, Gold Dust is one that I think about a lot. I don't know if he was supposed to be...
He's the one in the gimp suit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's supposed to be like a stereotypical, like, borderline, given the timing, I think this is possible. He might be a borderline, like, offensive stereotype of a gay person.
I was
'Cause he's
thinking
very
cocaine
effeminate
addict.
and...
I was
But
thinking
that's the thing. He
BDSM
could also be a paint
enjoyer.
huffer. He could also just be a guy who huffs paint.
I can see that.
He was in a BDSM
I don't know what he
outfit?
was.
Our
He like is covered in gold and he's weird and he moves around weird and he touches people.
none of these things are mutually exclusive.
No.
They can all be true, and they are
Yeah.
all offensive stereotypes of homosexual men.
I
Absolutely.
don't know. I've never seen this person.
One
You might recognize him if you saw him.
Maybe.
one wrestler that I was never too sure of as a kid was Mr. Mankind, like Mr.
Yeah.
McFoley or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Mick Foley. Is
Yeah,
his
yeah.
name. Mick Foley.
But then, like, after, like, going back and, like, looking at it, like, he was actually just, like, this good dude that was like, I want to put on a show for everybody. Undertaker. Chokeslam me off of the ring.
Like for real. And he was also, I believe, don't quote me on this, I'm not some expert. I believe Mick Foley was into the Japanese extreme wrestling thing that they did.
Oh yeah.
And they got freaking nuts. He would like get
Yep.
stabbed with pins and stuff, and like that was part of the show. Like I know there's that classic bit. It's not even a bit where to like have more blood, they would cut their forehead with a little razor in their
Yeah.
wristband or whatever. But this would like it would be part of the show that he'd get stabbed with pins and take chair shots to the back of the head and whatnot. His life was probably a living hell.
Yeah.
But I think he loved every minute of it.
Dude, I remember there was a time where he chipped his tooth in the middle of a fight, and he fucking spit the shit out, and just looked over at the guy and started smiling, and his mouth was just 90% red. And I'm like, that's a man who loves his job.
Mr. Mankind kind of reminds me of if Fed Smoker became a professional wrestler.
I haven't thought about Fed Smoker in so long.
Like if
What-
Mr. Mankind
I don't even remember the stuff he
if
said.
Mr. Mankind didn't become a professional wrestler, he would have owned a car wash and
Feather it, brother.
set his hair on fire and started pulling his teeth out.
I felt like he would have joined the Jackass crew.
Sure.
Okay.
Also, I believe, again, don't quote me on it, I think Mick Foley is like one of those wrestlers who's actually in real life super, super smart.
Not
Like,
after all those chairs to the head.
Well, I don't know. That's the thing. I think a lot of people, I can include myself in this because I don't really respect the art of performance wrestling, but I can say that like I get it, and I guess I do respect it in a way. I like that. It's like a bunch of theater kids who got really into bodybuilding.
I was just about to say that. It's like white trash theater.
Yeah.
You
So-
wouldn't make fun of somebody for going to a play.
This okay, so this reminds me of this clip that I saw from like this amateur wrestling league. And the guys that they were talking to gimmick was that he was supposed to be like this nerd. And there apparently is this traditional entertainment wrestling move where you put thumbtacks on the thing and slam people into them, right?
Yeah, I've heard of this.
And so he had a dice bag, and he had dice that he spread out on the field and would slam people
and
into.
it slam him into the
Yeah.
dice. That's cool.
Yeah, it was.
There's this one clip I've seen that was it's like you might have seen this before. It's like the wackiest thing in the world. Where it's some amateur wrestling and a guy, his super move is to literally lull you to sleep with a lullaby. And he like puts a blanket out and a pillow and he's like shh, and he's like gesturing to the crowd and he like really quietly puts his hand on the guy's chest and like points at the ref and the ref's like 1 2 and then the ref is like puts his hand up and he starts to yawn and the ref falls asleep.
What the fuck?
Well,
It's very silly.
I don't
like
want
that
to
kind of
ruin
stuff.
anybody's fun, but we've really been clawing our way to this hour mark.
Yeah.
I feel like we should wrap this up. Because I don't think I can go for much longer. What are we
But-
feeling?
Okay,
Well,
But colon sausage
Then,
wanted
if
to
we're
go an
gonna
hour and
wrap
a
it-
half.
Oh.
You don't want
He
to.
did say an hour.
He also
You don't-
said not to force it.
You don't want to get burnout. You don't want
Well-
to disappoint colon sausage, do you?
Just trust me, I'm burning out.
I don't.
And I don't think I'm going to rally.
Okay.
well,
Oh.
so this conversation has reminded me of this TLC show that I would get clips of.
Oh God.
Damn, Chris just hit you with a hard fuck you.
Yeah.
But we can hold on to that till
thank
next
God.
time.
Perfect.
Damn, Chris just hit me with a
So-
hard fuck me.
So, just so I can also say fuck Scott and not have to do this outro. Scott, take us out of here.
And I stopped recording.
Goodbye, everybody.